Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, left us over 4 decades ago, yet his music continues to captivate and bewilder. A fascinating journey through his discography reveals how RCA Records, his label, navigated the release of his music, sometimes blurring the lines between art and commerce. Let's explore the story of how Elvis's recordings were packaged, released, and celebrated, focusing on some key albums and collections. In the early 1980s, RCA began to release a series of Elvis albums designed to appeal to both fans and new listeners. One of the first was The Sound of Your Cry, released in 1982. This album, along with the EP collection later that same year, showcased Elvis's evolving sound. These releases were not just music, they were carefully crafted packages. The EP collection came in a special wallet with 11 UK EP releases, creating a tangible collection that charted as one album. This strategy was clever marketing, allowing fans to own a piece of Elvis's history in a unique way. Following this, RCA released Romantic Elvis and Rockin' Elvis in 1982. These albums, cataloged as RCA LP 1000 and 1001 respectively, were a brilliant move. RCA bundled them as a twofer, effectively giving fans 2 albums for the price of 1. This tactic not only boosted sales, but also kept Elvis at the top of the charts. The albums reached number 62 on the UK charts, demonstrating the enduring appeal of the king. In 1983, RCA continued its aggressive release schedule with Jailhouse Rock Love in Las Vegas. This album featured an eye-catching picture disc, a novelty that caught the eye and added value. The UK follow-up, I Was the One, released in 1983, continued this trend, offering new takes on Elvis's early hits. These releases were more than just music, they were experiences, with each album offering something unique. The 1980s saw RCA push the boundaries further. Memories of Christmas, 1982, and It Won't Seem Like Christmas Without You, 1982, brought holiday cheer, while Memories of Christmas offered a more extensive collection. RCA even released I Can Help, 1984, a picture disc featuring Elvis's 1970s hits, showing their commitment to innovative packaging. The Elvis A Legendary Performer series was another significant move. Starting in 1983 with Volume 4, RCA released unissued performances from Elvis's early career. These albums delved into the raw, unpolished sound of his youth, offering fans a glimpse of the man behind the myth. The Complete Sun Sessions, 1987, took this a step further, though it was not entirely complete. It provided a treasure trove of rare recordings. As the 1980s wore on, RCA's strategy shifted towards compilations and box sets. A Golden Celebration 1985 marked the 50th anniversary of Elvis's birth, featuring full versions of his early TV appearances. This collection was a love letter to the king, showcasing his versatility and talent. Presley, The All-Time Greatest Hits, 1987, reached number 4 on the UK charts, a testament to Elvis's lasting popularity. The late 1980s and early 1990s saw a flood of releases, including The Memphis Record, 1987, which captured the essence of Elvis's 1969 sessions, and The Alternate Aloha, 1988, a behind-the-scenes look at a performance. RCA even released Stereo 57, 1989, featuring early stereo recordings that were thought lost. These releases were not just about selling music, they were about preserving and celebrating Elvis's legacy. The 1990s brought more innovative packaging and releases. Hits like Never Before, 1990, and Great Performances, 1990, offered new takes on familiar hits, while For the Asking, 1990, presented bonus tracks from a lost 1963 album. RCA's dedication to uncovering and sharing every facet of Elvis's career was evident. The Collector's Gold Box Set 1991 was a fan favorite, offering 3 CDs filled with Hollywood, Nashville, and Las Vegas performances. As the millennium approached, RCA continued to push the boundaries. From the Heart, his greatest love songs, 1992, and The King of Rock and Roll, The Complete 50s Masters, 1992, were massive successes, solidifying Elvis's place in the rock and roll pantheon. The Essential Collection, 1994, and Amazing Grace, 1994, featuring sacred performances, showed the breadth of Elvis's musical journey. The 2000s saw RCA's legacy live on through continued releases like The 50 Greatest Hits, 2000, and Live in Las Vegas, 2001, which included a unique rap by Elvis himself. The Today, Tomorrow, and Forever box set 2002 offered alternative takes, giving fans a fresh look at rejected tracks. RCA's The Complete Elvis Presley Masters 2010 was a monumental release, compiling 711 masters and 103 extra pieces, a true testament to Elvis's prolific career. Throughout these releases, RCA's approach was consistent: mix music with memorabilia, create unique packaging, and capitalize on Elvis's enduring appeal. Each release was a piece of Elvis's story, a way to keep his memory alive and his music relevant. The king may have been gone, but his legacy, as presented by RCA, lived on in a way that continues to captivate new generations. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, captured the hearts of millions with his music and charisma. His influence wasn't just felt during his lifetime, it continued to ripple through the world of music long after his untimely death. People started creating songs about Elvis right away, as if trying to keep his spirit alive through melody. In the early days, some songs were playful and almost like imitations. For example, Old Shep, the Dog's Side, by Bobby George turned Elvis into a talking dog, which was a funny twist. Other songs from around the same time, like You're a Dirty Hound Dog by Mickey Katz, played off Elvis's hit Hound Dog, showing just how much his music was part of the culture. Artists began paying tribute to Elvis in more serious ways too. Songs like Heartbreak Hotel by Stan Freberg and I Want Elvis for Christmas by the Holly Twins showed how much Elvis meant to people, even as mere fiction or holiday wishes. These songs often reflected the public's deep emotional connection to him. As time went on, the songs about Elvis changed. They moved from playful to deeply emotional. I Remember Elvis Presley by Danny Muir became a hit, expressing the widespread grief felt after his death. Other songs like The King Is Gone by Ronnie McDowell captured the sadness of losing such an iconic figure. These songs were not just about Elvis, they were about how he made people feel. When Elvis passed away, the world changed for fans and musicians alike. Some artists tried to capture the essence of Elvis in their work. For instance, Leon Russell's Elvis and Marilyn was more about Russell's personal feelings than a straight tribute. Other songs directly addressed Elvis's impact on music and culture. Paul Simon's Graceland isn't directly about Elvis, but it shows how his legacy influenced other artists like Simon himself to explore new sounds. The years following Elvis's death saw a flood of songs that used his name or theme. Some were straightforward tributes like Carl Perkins' Elvis Presley and America, which mixed respect with a nod to America's musical heritage. Others took more creative liberties. Frank Zappa's Elvis Has Left the Building was a humorous take on the commercialization of Elvis's image. As the decades passed, even pop icons from different genres found ways to mention or honor Elvis. Depeche Mode's Personal Jesus was inspired by stories about Priscilla Presley, Elvis's wife, and showed how Elvis's story continued to fascinate people. The song became a massive hit, proving Elvis's influence extended beyond just rock and roll. Throughout all these songs, one thing remained clear: Elvis Presley was more than just a singer, he was a cultural icon. His music and image touched so many people that they felt compelled to create art in his honor. These songs are like threads in a tapestry, each one showing a different side of Elvis's lasting impact on music and culture. They remind us that the King's legacy lives on, not just in the songs we hear, but in the way those songs make us feel. Elvis Presley, often called the King of Rock and Roll, has left a huge mark on music and culture. After his death in 1977, people continued to celebrate and remember him in many ways. Musicians in particular have paid tribute to him, creating songs, albums, and even entire performances dedicated to his memory. Many songs directly mention Elvis or are inspired by him. For example, the song "Elvis is Dead" by Living Colour asks tough questions about people pretending Elvis is still alive just to sell records. Another song, "Black Velvet" by Alana Miles, tells a story about a man who goes to a special place in Memphis hoping to see Elvis, showing how much his fans still long to connect with him. Artists from different genres have also paid tribute. Country singer Mark Cohn wrote "Walking in Memphis," which tells a romantic story set in a place linked to Elvis. Robbie Williams wrote "Advertising Space," inspired by a scene in a movie where a character talks to Elvis' spirit. These songs show how Elvis influences various types of music. Tribute albums are another way fans and artists show their respect. These albums gather different songs performed by various artists, all connected to Elvis. For instance, The Last Temptation of Elvis features big names like Bruce Springsteen and Paul McCartney singing Elvis songs. Another notable album is All About Elvis, which features nearly 100 covers of Elvis songs recorded before he died, showing how his influence lasted long after his time. Besides songs, there are also special songs that acknowledge Elvis indirectly. Jerry Lee Lewis, a fellow rock and roll pioneer, wrote "Louis Boogie," which mentions Memphis, where Elvis made his name. Neil Young's "My My Hey Hey Out of the Blue" and "Hey Hey My My Into the Black" play with the idea of rock icons and include nods to Elvis. Artists have also created songs that react to Elvis' impact and legacy. Public Enemy's "Fight the Power" argues that Elvis wasn't the only king and highlights other important musicians. REM. It's in how people talk about him and remember him. Songs like "You and Your Heroes" by Da Lench Mob reflect on American history, mentioning Elvis among other cultural figures. These songs show that Elvis represents more than just music. He's a symbol of an era and a cultural icon. In conclusion, Elvis Presley's death opened up a world of tribute and remembrance. Through songs, albums, and performances, artists continue to celebrate his life and music. These tributes reflect not just love for the man, but also the lasting impact he had on the world of music and beyond.